Imagination. There's no complication. Imagination.
Hello survivors, welcome back to another video. How are you today, guys? Let me know in the comments. But before you know the deal, please subscribe, like the video and support your boy. Today we're gonna talk about Massive March Massive March talent, because there have been some debates about whether you should activate that in the beginning or not. You know my standpoint with this, that you should activate it in the beginning, because in the beginning is 1 against 1. Usually the top player from the other team against you as a top player or as a rally leader. So, and on the top, most of you have the same stats. Yeah, there might be some difference in troop attack, troop defense. With the HQ, you have skins that you have collected, or the frames that you have collected, or now maybe just a few difference in infantry health and lethality with the aircraft and stuff, or now some difference in skill with the monkey. But they're usually not that big, especially if you are both top spenders. So what's gonna make the difference here are the talents. And for me, when you are going into the reservoir rate, one of the first things that you have to care about is a first occupation, because if you take most of the first occupation, you are already 30,000 points ahead. And yeah, 30,000 points ahead might not be that much, but when you are in a close fight, that matters a lot. So if you come here, for example, not that here guide here, history info, yeah, reservoir rate. When you go to the buildings, you can see here first control occupation 9,000 points, 6,000, 6,000. So if you take these two, it's 12,000 points already. If you take these two of these, it's already 18,000 points in water that you get. But the only way that you can take those buildings is just to send your highest amount of troops and your highest amount of damage. And for that you need Massive March, and as a P8 you need the synergistic attack. Well, what happened, even if that player is a little bit stronger than you, but you are sending 300 or 30,000 more troops, you are gonna be able to win. And what happens if you win? Well, you are gonna defense the attack, you're gonna stay in the building, your players are gonna be able to get in to reinforce the building, and while the troops from the enemy are coming back and they're calling rallies, you have a higher chance of getting the first occupation, and therefore you're getting the points and you are just getting ahead in the beginning of the match. Of course, if you take the building first, it doesn't guarantee you that they are not gonna kick you out later, but it usually takes them 1-2 rallies to the opposite team to time them well, to measure your strength. And of course, it also gives you time to adjust, because if now they have to call 1 minute rally, you can recall your formation, send your defense formation, which is now the Joker, Hank and Roxy, and then your chances of defending the next attack is going to be higher. Therefore you will have the first occupation, and that's going to help you. Now that's my argument, that's how I see it. You have just one chance. There are no second chances. It's either you take the building or they take the building from you. That's why it is so important for me to get a Massive March in the beginning and to get the talent. Now, the other argument that you are making is the following. I'm gonna claim this, sorry, because I just upgraded the monkey and now I'm getting more rewards. But the other argument that you are making is the following. The second half of the match is as important, and therefore you should activate it in the second half of the match, because then you have a higher amount of troops, and then you can gather, for example, in the water tanks, and then you have more troops in the water tank. And then not only that, you also have a higher march capacity to kick the other people out of the buildings when you are just going soloing around, and therefore you are going to be able to collect the puddle. And that's a very good argument, but I don't agree with that point. Why? Because unlike the beginning, where you only have just one opportunity in a lifetime, because it's either you win the first attack or you lose it. If you lose it, they take the building, they take first occupation most of the time. But if you take the building, then you keep the building, they reinforce, and then you have a higher chance of getting first occupation. So it is just one chance. Either you win the attack or you lose the attack. Now, I don't see that happening with the puddles. I don't see that happening with the tanks, because when you are just going for the puddles and porting here, let's say, and trying to take the people of this building, it is not a matter of how many troops you are sending per march. It's just a matter of how many troops you have in total. because if you cannot take them after like 5 marches, you can always take a second march or a sixth march and take them out of the building. If they kick you out of the water tank and you can maybe with higher march capacity defend and one attack, they will always send 2 attacks. So there is no, for example, when you activate that talent after they have after the second part of the match, there is not that thing like in the beginning where it's just in one time opportunity. No, you have multiple opportunity, because yeah, it is gonna be a little bit more difference if you send a higher march capacity kicking people out of the puddles or kicking people out of the buildings. You send, let's say, 220,000 march instead of 220. Maybe you could take that building after 4 marches, but you could also take it after 5 marches. If you didn't have the 220,000 troop capacity, then you can just send 200,000 and then just send an extra march. And to take them out of that building, it's just gonna take you maybe 2 seconds more. So you are just like losing 2 seconds. Now, and you are not losing points because you will get them out of the building anyways, because guess what? You have a higher amount of troops overall, and it is not a matter of how many troops you are sending per march, it's a matter how many infantry you have left to keep hammering that building. So you will take them out of the building anyways because you are just running trains on the building. If you are gathering water, you always will get kicked out of the tank anyways, because the other people are just worrying about kicking you out of the tank. And you have an opportunity to take it back. In the beginning, there is not that scenario. There is not that scenario. You either take the building or you either don't take the building and they take first occupation, or you take first occupation. That's why I don't see as important in the second part of the match to activate massive march and synergistic attack, because for all the things like you are saying, like for example, it is gonna help you to have a higher troop capacity, you can always replace that with an extra march. In the beginning, it doesn't work like that, because in the beginning, you can send an extra march, but one more time, the other is sending also an extra march, so it's 1 against 1, and if you have the highest chances of occupying that building first, one more time, you're getting the first occupation. For the rest of the match, you just send an extra march, and it's just like, yeah, you can take that, kick that player out of the water tank, and you are not losing any points for a long time. If you lose the building, you lose already 9,000 points. If you lose the tank for, like, let's say you have to send just 2 marches or 2 extra marches to take the puddles, you are just losing like 4 seconds because the march is just going one after the other one. Now, if you don't take the building the first time, you are not only losing like time, but you are losing like 9,000 points in first occupation. You are like losing like 6,000 points in first occupation. So that's why for me it is important to activate the massive march in the beginning in synergistic attack, because I think it's when you have the biggest advantage. For the rest, you can just like cover the deficiencies of like troop march capacity, sending more marches. And as it is now today, I don't see problems with people taking the puddles, because if you can take it, you will take it anyways, just sending more marches. If you cannot take it, you will have to call 1 minute rally, and if you send 200,000 or 220,000, it won't make a difference, because if you are better in a stat and the rally is full, then you are gonna end up taking the building. So that's my standpoint with the massive march. Yeah, I know it is important as well, the second half of the match, but at the end of the day, I consider it more important in the beginning. Not only that, in the beginning, you are testing the waters. If you have a higher march capacity and you find a weak link, then that weak link, it will be better off to take him out in the beginning, so he cannot feel rally, so he cannot feel building. And then since the beginning, you have even a better advantage, not only taking the first occupation, but also hammering the weak links, and then they have 1 player left, or 1 or 2 more players less to join to fill rallies, and then that's gonna just benefit throughout the match. Now, if you smash people at the end of the match, when the match is already decided, for example, you activated 10 minutes before and you go crazy, the match is already, you either won it or you either lose it, so it doesn't make any difference in terms of like win or lose. Yeah, for smashing people and getting points, that's cool, but it doesn't determine whether you win the match or not, because it will have already be determined whether you win it or lost, like 5 minutes left, or unless it is a very close match. So I hope this clears my stand on the massive match thing. If you have another comment, if you disagree, please feel free to comment. I'm not here a dictator that is what I said. I can be mistaken. So let me know. I hope you enjoy. See you next time.